somehow people have come to believe that it's better to just ghost somebody rather than to tell them, hey, I just don't feel romantic chemistry here. And I think most of us, if we step back and think about it for a second, can say, no, that's dumb.
Welcome to Seacoast Stories, a weekly podcast where we interview the people and businesses of New Hampshire and Maine. I'm Troy Farkas. I've produced some of the most popular podcasts in the world. And since moving to the Seacoast in 2023, I've fallen in love with the area and its inspiring people. And now I'm on a mission to bring the Seacoast closer together, one podcast at a time. Today, it's the Season 4 finale. It's been quite the 2026 so far for Seacoast Stories. This episode you're listening to is the 25th episode of the season, a season which released multiple bonus episodes and introduced a series called The Follow-Up, which today's episode falls under. On the events side of things, our sold-out Seacoast Stories Dinner Club in the West End of Portsmouth this Wednesday will be our 8th dinner of 2026. In those 8 dinners, we filled 635 restaurant seats in towns like Dover, Manchester, Exeter, Amesbury, Newburyport, Portland, and Newmarket, which equates to approximately $35,000 contributed to the local restaurant scene. Plus, we recently hosted Seacoast Stories Live at the Stone Church and Seacoast Singles at 3S Art Space, both of which were very successful nights. On social media, we produced several Seacoast viral videos, like videos from the podcast and the dating show, and we also introduced a new series called Seacoast Best Of, where a friend and I go around a different town searching for the best insert food or drink item in a specific Seacoast town. And as we approach our 2-year anniversary, I'm filled with such gratitude for every one of you who has pressed play, followed the podcast on Apple or Spotify, shared an episode with friends, attended an event, stopped me in the streets, any of these things. I'm truly getting to live out my dreams every day because of all of you. I could not do this without you, and I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Now, with all that said, I am exhausted. And that's why for today's finale, I've called upon one of my absolute favorite people on the Seacoast to round out this season. Ankati Day is one of, if not the very best yoga teacher on the Seacoast. And that's saying something, because there's a lot of us. She's extremely knowledgeable and versatile, and she's been teaching for 14 years now. She's worked virtually everywhere on the Seacoast, but these days, you can find her as my coworker at Three Bridges Yoga, and she also teaches at Shiloh Farm, and as of recently, Studio One. Plus, she hosts worldwide yoga retreats and leads one of my favorite monthly Seacoast events, Ecstatic Dance. More on that later. She appeared on the show a year ago, but here is a quick reminder of her story. Ankati grew up in Maine. After college, she worked with the Appalachian Mountain Club. Then, she moved to Montana, and after a few years there, she upended her life, doing so by going to Costa Rica to learn how to become a yoga teacher. She did her intensive studies there, moved back to Montana with this newfound knowledge, realized she belonged instead in the jungle, and then returned to Costa Rica. Eventually, she came back to Maine around 2015, and since then, she's made quite the name for herself around these parts. Well, not that there's any other Ankatis out there. Today's episode of The Follow-Up is presented by another dear friend, Portsmouth's David Higgins, and it's the perfect way to wrap up this season. So, from the cozy confines of Shiloh Farm in Elliott's, Maine, Ankati and I discuss a number of things, like how all of us are becoming increasingly reliant on external feedback, ignoring our own intuition in the process, plus how to craft a wellness routine that works for you, the struggles that I'm having as a newer yoga teacher, what it's like to be a, quote, feral yoga jungle hippie, her words, not mine, and also the lost art of communication, which is where today's story begins. Ankati, thank you for letting me be here in Shiloh Farm again, and thank you for being here. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you, Troy. It's so good to see you again. I mean, I see you all the time, but in this capacity. Yes,
I'm honored to be here. And I thought we would start off today's episode by taking the people inside our text message exchanges. We've been talking a lot recently about the mating habits of birds
Yes.
And the communication styles of birds, of mountain lions, of lots of the entire animal kingdom. You send me a lot of videos of birds, which
it's very deep.
Is very interesting. Why is this something that we have been discussing?
Well, I mean, birds. I like birds, but I think it all came from our conversations around communication. You had posted something around being tired of the gray zone, being tired of indirect communication, being tired of left guessing what people mean. We were talking both about the dating world as well as the business world of like, I'm sitting over here thinking one thing is happening, and then somewhere down the road, I realize, oh, actually, this person was not actually communicating what they meant. And now everything's all topsy-turvy. And we were sharing about I was sharing about how birds don't do that to each other. They're just like, hello, I'm here. I'm interested in you. What do you think? And how nice it would be if humans were maybe a little bit more like that.
Yeah. I had a conversation with Bill Camarda. He and his wife, Bennett, they own Limitless Fitness, which is a great gym in Greenland and Epping. And last fall, as I was really thinking about the business future of Seacoast Stories, Bill had an extensive history before Limitless in the sales world. And I don't really have much experience in the sales and the client negotiations world. And so I was kind of leaning on him for some tips and tricks for how to navigate certain business conversations. And he had told me something that really stuck with me. And he said what made him stand out was that he would start his meetings, in which the end goal was to try to land some type of deal.
Right.
He would start his meetings with, hey, I'm Bill. I represent this company. This is my agenda for the day. This is what I want to accomplish today. I want to hear about what you're interested in and what you're trying to get out of this. And I'll tell you some of my story and what I'm looking for. And then hopefully we can come to a resolution by the end of it. But if not, that's okay. I'm glad to have had the conversation. And he said to me, wouldn't life just be so much better if we started a lot of conversations like that just at the beginning? Hey, these are my intentions. This is what I'm looking for. I want to hear what you're looking for. And this is hopefully the end result that we get to. And I was like, man, imagine just starting a first date with that conversation. Imagine starting a business negotiation. I was like, man, that is brilliant, but takes quite the balls to do that as well.
Right. Because I can imagine that he made a lot of people very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, we're kind of used to this more like pussyfooting, like, let's get to know each other.
Right.
And then later we'll figure out what's happening. But then you waste so much time and energy when nobody's really sure what the agenda is. I mean, with a salesperson, like, I think it's pretty clear. You're like, we're trying to get a sale here. But yeah, in life, I mean, I think people just get, for whatever reason, and I mean, we could go off on a whole tangent there. For whatever reason, people get so uncomfortable with directness. And it's something that maybe we talked about this the first time. When I lived in Costa Rica and I lived with a bunch of people from Germany, Israel, a whole bunch of other countries, I realized just how direct they were versus people from the US who would talk 17 loops around the thing that they actually meant to say. And for me, at first, it was super confronting because, I mean, I was just not used to it. And
this girl from Maine.
Right. And eventually, you know, I found myself being the one when other people from the US would come and they were like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if this person likes me. I'm like, no, actually, they're just being direct. It's not that they don't like you. They're just, that's how they are. They tell it like it is. And actually, it might mean that they do like you because they're actually willing to tell you instead of walk 17 circles around it.
Right. So why aren't we like that? Because as I just laid out, I mean, that actually sounds pretty nice. If we all just were upfront, that would do everyone a great public service.
We hate rejection, Troy. And if you actually say what you want, then you might actually get rejected directly.
Right.
Nobody actually really wants to do the rejecting either.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say, thank you, but I'm not interested. I think it's our ability to sit with emotions, feelings that are a little bit uncomfortable, which oddly enough get more comfortable the more you practice. saying no or asking for what you want. Obviously, my German and Israeli friends were totally fine with it. But we in the US, we are just not practiced at it. And I think in particular, depending on what part of the country you are from, like if you're from down south or if you're from the Midwest, whoa, it gets even fluffier and even more focused on being really, 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 really nice to the detriment of being clear.
You know, if we're doing the rejecting, we think we're doing them a service by not outwardly saying, because a rejection is some type of like, you're not my person, or this doesn't make sense for me. And in doing so, you're probably hurting that person's feelings. And so we think by perhaps stringing them along that we're actually preserving their feelings, when in actuality, that's just going to do more long-term damage than the short-term damage you would inflict with that upfront, hey, like, I just don't think this is going to work.
Yeah. I mean, this is the ghosting thing that we've talked about.
I'm so
it's
sick
like,
of it. So sick of it.
Somehow people have come to believe that it's better to just ghost somebody rather than to tell them, hey, I just don't feel romantic chemistry here. And I think most of us, if we step back and think about it for a second, can say, no, that's dumb. Because then you just have somebody on the other end that's wondering, you know, did they lose their phone? Are they in a coma? Did they forget?
Right. Yeah. Then you go down the rabbit hole in your mind.
Exactly.
Things that can
like
happen.
It's way more unkind than actually just telling somebody, hey, I'm just not feeling the vibe.
Yeah. I'm sick of it. Sick of the gray area, sick of the ghosting.
As somebody who I would still probably consider myself pretty conflict averse, there is definitely part of me that can get it a little bit. The part that is like, oh,
for sure.
Like, I just don't want to, you know?
Yeah.
And I recognize that on the other end, it's received as disrespectful. It's received as rude. It's oftentimes more hurtful than just saying something, or like reaching out to you and being like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, but I can't. And we've had this ecstatic dance too, when we have a sold out dance and when we have people that don't show.
Right.
And you're like, dude, somebody else could have come.
Yeah. And that just doesn't seem to clock with people, that you are taking a spot. And I know this happens at Studio One with your wait list as well.
Yeah.
People will willingly pay a $20 no-show fee or something? $25 no-show fee. I mean, you rack a couple of those up a month, you're paying a second membership.
You are.
With your 4 no-show fees or whatever. And people just seem willing to take that.
Yeah.
And not realizing that your no-show has taken a spot from someone who was on the wait list, who wanted to be in that class and couldn't because you had that spot.
Yeah. People overscheduling themselves. I am totally guilty of aspirational scheduling sometimes. Where you're like, sure, I can do all this. And then the day of comes and you're like, no, I cannot. What was I thinking?
You almost ghosted me on this podcast, didn't you?
No, not at all.
Okay, great. So how do we fix this? How do we fix this communication issue? What do we do? Should we take the Bill Camarda approach of just on a date or on a business meeting or some type of collaboration you're discussing? Should we just be as upfront and direct as possible?
Honestly, yeah, I think so. I mean, we've talked about this where I've said when you have mentioned this of saying maybe I'll just start the date by saying, here I am. This is what I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm interested in you. This is what I'm hopeful for. Yeah. When I consider hearing that from somebody on a first date, I'm like, I feel relieved. Because I also don't love the gray area. And it's so interesting, right? There's so much dating advice out there in the world now. I love Sean Galanos of The Love Drive because his answer to so many people's questions is, well, have you tried talking about it? People were like, I just don't know if this person wants to be in a monogamous relationship with me. We've been dating each other for 1 year and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, have you tried asking them? Like, hello.
That's so good.
You know, and I personally can imagine myself feeling really relieved if I trust that person actually is meaning what they say when they say, hello, my name is so-and-so. I am hopeful for this. I'm not asking, like in a dating context, right? It's like they're not asking me to marry them right then and there.
Right.
But they're like, that's my ultimate hope in life.
Yeah.
And same thing with a business partnership. You're like, I'm not asking you to sign on a dotted line right now, but that's what I would like if this feels aligned. So that everybody knows, like, I'm not looking for, a polycule. I'm not looking for some sort of vague business situationship here.
Yeah.
Like, I want to clear, because then it gives both parties the opportunity to say, this is a yes for me, this is a no for me. And the other person to say, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm like with you on that one. Or like, oh, actually, can we talk about that one? But like, how do we get people to be brave enough to have that conversation?
I know. And to do it face to face too is the ideal. But there's been I feel like people's relationship with face-to-face communication is so all over the place. I aspire to have face-to-face conversations as much as possible because it's the hardest thing. I always want to do the hardest thing is if I have to reject someone or have some type of difficult conversation. It takes a lot to be able to have that conversation face-to-face, and I try to do that as much as possible. But on the other end, you never know where that person is at. How do they do with face-to-face conversations? Would they find it weird if this was a face-to-face conversation? Would they rather have this be a voice text, a DM exchange, a text exchange, a FaceTime? Like, you never know what someone else's preferred form of communication for a quote-unquote difficult conversation is. So that's always something I'm trying to think about as well. Like, I want to have this conversation face-to-face, but I'm not sure if they do,
I think, systemically, we just have to develop more capacity to be able to actually navigate conversations around our emotion, conversations around conflict. And social media has done such a disservice because now everyone can just be a keyboard warrior and spout off whatever they want to spout off on the internet with little to no repercussions. I mean, same things with dating apps, right? The messages that people send are insane. Like, you would never say that to somebody to their face. No, I'm not on the dating apps anymore because of this. Yeah. Like, just using that filter of, would you ever say that to somebody's face? Oh my God. No, just no. I mean, the internet serves so many incredible purposes, but it has also disconnected us from the humanity of my nervous system right now is co-regulating with your nervous system right now. And I'm not just being woo-woo here. The literal magnetic field of my heart and the magnetic field of your heart are in connection. And there's so much happening in the ways that our systems are communicating right now that doesn't happen over FaceTime. So the reality of what happens in that connection face to face, just you can't match that. Yeah. Any other way.
You really can't. I'm sorry if I smell bad right now coming from yoga. We're in a barn, so if you're picking up on that, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just taught as well.
Okay, great. We're at good. Us. Well, there's your advice for today. Everyone, please be like birds in your communication styles. Speaking of yoga, so since we last spoke, I formally became a yoga teacher. I'm kind of struggling, Ankati. And I want to talk to you about this. So you've been a teacher for over a decade, right?
Yeah, since 2012. So 14 years.
Since 2012, 14 years. Incredible. I would just love to know how that first year went for you, because yoga was something similar to me, similar to a lot of people who become yoga teachers. Yoga saved us. Yoga showed us something that we didn't know before. And so take me into that first year. How was teaching for you? What did it feel like internally? Did you like it? I'm so fascinated to know.
Yeah. Well, my first year was a little bit wonky in the sense that I moved back to Montana and I taught for about 9 months, and then I moved back to Costa Rica. So maybe we'll skip forward to the part where I started teaching back in the US once I moved back. Okay. Although I guess that first 9 months was actually pretty formative in the sense that I was trying to do what I now advise people not to do in yoga teacher trainings, which was jump right into making yoga my career. So when I went back after my training, I started teaching at the studio that I'd been practicing at. I'd already had a conversation with the owner who I was close with, and he was like, great, yes, come back from your training and we'll get you on the schedule. Because I also was jumping back into trying to make it my career, it put so much pressure on it. It put so much pressure on getting people in the room and making sure people liked what I was teaching and trying to come up with workshops and trying to get people to come to the workshops. And yeah, it pretty quickly sapped the fun out of it. And I was burning the candle at both ends and in the middle for a little while there, just trying to figure out how to make it work. And I mean, part of that was the studio that I was teaching at was operating on the per head pay system, which that's a rabbit hole we could go down around how folks in we'll call it the healing industry, the wellness industry. We lean into these people to help us feel good about the world, and they get paid jack shit.
Right. So you get the more people that are in the room, you get paid more.
Right. Which then, kind of motivates you to be focused on being likable rather than teaching whatever your authentic style might be. Which I had just come back from, being a feral jungle yoga hippie. So
I should have used that in my intro. Ankati, the feral jungle yoga hippie, is here to join us.
So yeah, it pretty quickly became not fun. And then I think when I came back from Costa Rica and started teaching here, I was not trying to make it my full-time career at that time, but I think it starts to impact your personal practice because suddenly I'm in a class and instead of just totally zoning out and being present, I'm like, oh, that was a cool transition.
Right. You're kind of like predicting the next move. You're analyzing, okay, we're starting the class here. Why?
Right. Or you're like, oh, I got to remember that one. I like that.
Yeah,
I like how they said that. Or your brain is like, I don't like that cue. I didn't like that.
I wouldn't have done it that way.
I wouldn't have done it that way. I always apologize to people when they start yoga teacher training because I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is going to break your brain for yoga for a while.
Yeah.
Because now your brain is attuned to how are they cueing? How are they pacing? Are they cueing the breaths at the pace that I would want them to cue the breaths? Would I have done it that way? Would I have done it differently? Oh, that was a dumb quote. Oh, I really like that quote, But it took a little while before I could just be in a yoga class without that part of my brain kicking on.
So I guess I'm struggling because...
Yeah, tell me.
Like a lot of people, when starting teacher training, I was surprised by the number of people who started without the intention of actually teaching. Of my cohort of 12, I think only 2 of us are teaching. And so when I started, I was in the camp of, I really like yoga. I want to learn more about this. I love Three Bridges. I love Stephanie. I just want to spend more time in this space learning from this person that I have so much admiration for. Halfway through the training, because it was like an 8 or 9 month program, I'm in Mexico with Sarah Olson on the retreats. She's asking me questions about my plans for teaching. And I was like, I don't know, man. And as I was thinking about it more, I was like, if I know this stuff, if I have this knowledge, I have to share it as someone who loves and is comfortable with, because most people aren't, is comfortable with being on a stage or being in front of people. Furthermore, as a man, of which there's not that many doing yoga, let alone teaching it, I feel like that is something that the world needs more of as well, is like good men teaching yoga. So that's something that I should do. So then I decide, okay, yes, I will do this. I will become a teacher. But never was it really this intention of, I want to save people. I want to change the world. It was never that kind of approach to it. It was, this is just something I'm going to do. And I selfishly, I love being in front of people. And I love leading people through a workout, a form of working out, if you will. But no part of me is really like this noble, I want to do a service for people. I really want to connect with everyone on a deep individual level. I would actually prefer you not come up and talk to me at the end of class. I just want to do a service, get in, get out. So I feel kind of bad because I imagine our mutual friends, the Hollies of the world, love Holly, and the Carolines of the world, and all these other amazing instructors. And at Studio One, Katie and Rachel, like they do it to help people. And that doesn't really feel like my intention, and I feel kind of weird about that.
I actually want to push back on that because of all of the things that you are doing in the podcast, in your dinners that you put on, in all these events you put on, you are, in a lot of those capacities, I'd call you a connector. Mm-hmm. Like, I know building community is something that you're really passionate about. And so you are creating spaces where people can connect. Holding a yoga space is creating a space where people can connect with themselves. And so I actually think coming into a yoga space or a fitness space or anything thinking that we can heal people or fix people is incredibly egotistical. Because I'm not healing or fixing anybody. Let's be real. I'm offering them a space. I'm offering them some invitations, some prompts. I'm giving them a flow. I'm teaching them this technology of a practice and breath and all of that. But what they do with it, I can't control that. So I think in all of those capacities, you are giving people tools and practices and spaces to be able to do their own growing and evolving and connecting, whether that's connecting with other people or connecting with themselves. And then you're like, okay, I gave you some tools. There you go. And I think that's actually a beautiful gift to not get yourself to like, did you like it? Did it fix you? Did it heal you? Are you healed now? Right? You're just like, I gave you a thing. Cool. Like, see you next week.
Okay, cool. And so what is your relationship to your own practice like now?
It ebbs and flows, which I've always had, I'll say kind of a humorous relationship with the assumptions that people make about individuals that teach yoga. Like, everybody assumes I'm vegetarian or vegan.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I've assumed that about you.
I know. And everybody assumes that I'm like doing meditation and yoga all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And I just turned 42 last week. So, you know, with all of this information out there now about you need to be lifting weights, you need to be protecting your bones, you need to be building muscle mass, all of that sort of stuff. I started lifting weights.
Wow.
I know. Scandalous.
Buddha's rolling over in his grave.
We've all seen pictures of Buddha though. Like,
yeah,
you know, he was not particularly jacked. Probably didn't have great muscle mass or bone density either.
Could have used a little bar and Pilates in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you started weight training.
I've started weight training. And, you know, my physical constitution, I tend a little bit more towards hypermobility. And this is one of those like hot button topics in the yoga world. In yoga, we only train pushing. We don't train pulling. And so for folks who are only doing yoga, you're actually going to over time develop a pretty significant muscular imbalance in your back, which will then translate up into neck, shoulders, like the whole situation up here. That was something that I dealt with a lot. I've been doing yoga for a long time now. It's been my primary form of movement for a long time now. And I landed myself in a place of, oh, wow, gosh, I've got chronic neck issues. So I started doing some strength training. I actually started doing strength training in 2020. I have a friend who's a personal trainer and he like programmed this whole thing for me. I had to back off doing it in that way because it was too much for my nervous system. But now I'm trying to find my balance where I'm doing some weight training to support and create balance for my yoga, because I also realize I can't just go all in on weights and bar and Pilates, because then I lose the mindfulness and the awareness and the meditative qualities that are, I think, pretty crucial for me to my mental health, to my emotional well-being, and to my spiritual connection.
Yeah.
Not that all of those other things can't be spiritual in some capacity, but for me, I find my spiritual connection more in the quiet spaces or in the woods.
It also helps you practice, you have to practice what you preach as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something that, to circle back to our conversation around starting to be a teacher, if you start to lose your practice, your teaching is going to show it.
Yeah. I actually, when I started teaching, I was excited about, the Dharma talk and the opening of the class. Oh, I can tell all these fun stories. I can part this life wisdom to use as a theme to carry us throughout the practice. And over the last year, as my life has gotten completely flipped upside down and I'm on a path completely different than what I ever thought, like I don't really have a spiritual bone in my body right now. I don't. I'm just like, all right, let's take 3 breaths and now let's move. That's just where I'm at in my life. I don't feel I have anything inspirational to say, because whatever message I try to impart is not something that I would listen to myself right now.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
I'm just trying to keep that in mind as well and just be like an authentic teacher. This is where I'm at in my life. I'm in a very fiery place in my life right now. Like that's what I know. I'm going to teach that.
So you're the like Phoenix on fire right now.
I'm like, let's hold plank for 5 minutes.
Okay. Got it.
So won't see you in my class. Got it. Okay.
Hey, I took your class not that long ago.
No, you've taken a couple.
We didn't do a 5-minute plank though.
No, we don't hold 5 minutes. We'll hit some pyramid poses. We'll do a lot of warrior 3 and planks, and that's my class just on repeat.
Great. I mean, it reminds me of, some of the more classical teachers, which we still have some folks from that lineage around teaching out in the world. They would say, trust the yoga. This is, again, I'm going to use the word technology. This is a technology. This is a practice that has been developed because it works. And if you offer people the technology that works, you don't necessarily have to give them a whole Dharma talk. The yoga is going to work. And I think for a lot of people, that's actually more helpful, just to give them some breath and some movement and some cues and like, that's it. Keep it clean.
Okay.
Keep it minimal. I think the modern yoga world has overcomplicated yoga on many levels.
Okay.
And that then has a lot of yoga teachers feeling like, I need to have a Dharma talk and I need essential oils and I need to have a perfect playlist and I need to have the funkiest, fanciest flow with wild transitions. And then I need to give them a whole sound bath during Shavasana. And it's like, you don't really have to. That's just the byproduct of our overstimulated culture where, you need
the heat. Everyone loves the heat these days.
Right. Which for some people, great. For a lot of people, we have plenty of fire. We are living lifestyles where we are go all the time. And we don't actually need that added layer of more stimulation to the system.
Right.
But yeah, I know it is a funny moment. I wonder in like 10 years, what are we going to be into?
I know.
Because right now it's hot yoga.
Yeah. I'm not into the hot yoga. And that seems to be the thing that men, I'm hearing a lot of, that's where men are going. They're going to the hot yoga.
Why do you think that is?
Because they need all the fire and they need to sweat and they feel like they need to be getting like a good workout in,
right. Yeah. Which like, again, for some people, wonderful. If you're somebody who tends towards a little bit more inertia, great. Get thyself to a hot yoga class, kick up that fire. But if you're somebody who's already fully in fuego, like,
I'm good. I don't need my hot yoga.
Yeah.
I'm good. But shout out to all the hot yoga studios we have on the Seacoast. There's plenty of great ones.
And they keep cropping up. I know.
It's all the rage. Coming up, Ankati and I go behind the scenes of one of my favorite places on the Seacoast. Plus, she justifies my espresso martini addiction. That's in a moment. But first, I recently stopped by a dermatology practice that is doing things the right way. Thoughtful, local, and built around people, not corporations. Dermatology and Skin Health is a physician-owned practice that's been locally owned and operated since 2004. No private equity, no corporate playbook, just experienced doctors putting patient care first. They're an SRC Center of Excellence for Mohs micrographic surgery, and Dr. Mendes himself is an SRC Surgeon of Excellence. In other words, they've been independently verified to meet the absolute highest standards for safety, quality, and precision in skin cancer removal. In fact, they're the only practice in all of New England and one of just 2 in the entire country with both of these credentials. They offer medical, cosmetic, and surgical dermatology. Everything from acne and psoriasis to skin cancer screenings to Botox, filler, and laser treatments. They accept all insurances and have locations across the North Shore of Massachusetts, southern Maine, 2 in Dover, and 1 in Newington. So basically, no matter where you are on the Seacoast, you're covered. Head to their website, link is in the show notes, and get 15% off your next cosmetic treatment at any DSH location by mentioning Seacoast Stories at checkouts. That's 15% off some of the best Botox, filler, and laser treatments in the country right here in our backyard. You know I love a good story. And when it comes to building wealth, I want the full story. But if you're like me, doing your finances solo is not the vibe. That's where Portsmouth's own David Higgins comes in. He's a 37-year Seacoast resident and a day one supporter of this show. This past winter, David won the annual Seacoast Skating with the Stars, an event where each contestant is paired with a pro ice dancer for a special performance. How did he win? Because he practiced 3 times a day over 3 months. He was prepared. He told me that winning would be great, but he wanted to perform his best in front of his community. And that tells you everything you need to know about how he shows up in life and for his clients. David has spent nearly 25 years at Wells Fargo Advisors helping people build thoughtful and detail-oriented wealth plans. First and foremost, he listens, which you know that I'm all about. And then he explains. He makes this stuff feel understandable instead of overwhelming. When you sit down with David, you're getting a full wealth health plan. What is wealth health? More than picking the investment, David incorporates an emotional wealth health conversation to help you think how you want to live today and tomorrow for yourself and your family. He's a friendly Portsmouth outdoor guy who really lives his life for his family, community, and for sure, his client base. If you want someone who prepares like a champion skater and plans like a seasoned pro, you may want to meet David. Oh, and if you were just thinking you need a second opinion, David will do this for no cost. He just simply cares that much. Investment products and services are offered through Wells Fargo Advisors, a trade name used by Wells Fargo Clearing Services, LLC, and Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC. Members SIPC, separate registered broker-dealers, and non-bank affiliates of Wells Fargo Company. Thank you to David Higgins and Dermatology and Skin Health for supporting today's episode. Now back to my conversation with Ankati Day, who tells me about her newest gig as a yoga instructor at my fitness place of choice, Studio One. Here's Ankati again.
It's been such a gift to be working with a team where everybody's so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, both the people who come to the classes as well as the leadership and the other instructors. It just feels like one massive hype squad.
Yes. That's so true. Sometimes I walk in for like a 5:30 p.m. in class and there's 5 people at the front desk. We're like, "Hi, Troy." We're like, "Whoa, too much positive energy too soon."
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And everybody learns your name. Yeah. And, I have other instructors who come to my classes and I go to their classes. And it's just, it really speaks to how, and I know you've had Katie on multiple times, both live and on the podcast, and it speaks to how effective she has been at not just creating a fitness space, but creating an ethos.
Yeah.
And a place where community is not just something that we give lip service to. It's legit. They're really working hard to actually get people to connect with each other and get to know each other and feel like they belong.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because since the pandemic, and this has been a constant theme on the show, and what makes the Seacoast so special is this sense of shared community that we have here. And every business knows in the wake of the pandemic that community is essential for human happiness and fulfillment and purpose in this world, which will ultimately help you do better at your job or show up more to that place. I've been a part of fitness studios, gyms that say, we have a community here. We have such a strong community here. But I'm like, no, like you just have people who go to your gym. That is not the same thing. At Studio One, it is truly a community. It is the only, and I've been addicted to fitness my whole life. I've been a part of so many types of studios and gyms. I've never proudly repped their merch before.
Right.
I've never told someone, you have to go to this place. I've never told someone, this place is special. You have to go take this person's class. It's truly the only fitness space I've ever been a part of where I'm like, I'm so proud to be a member of this place. And Studio One, Katie, Rachel, Mary, Maddie, the whole team, I could go on. Like, you're all incredible.
Yeah. And it makes movement, fitness, whatever you want to call it, feel less like, oh God, this is a thing I should do because I know Katie I'm doesn't supposed even like to. Working out. I know.
But you have, for her to show up, she has to have those extra components added to it. And I'm sure she's not the only one who feels that way.
Right. I mean, yeah, like, okay, we're going to go get on a bike that goes nowhere and you're going to pedal your ass off in the dark. That by itself, no thanks. I'm good. Throw a bunch of wooing and towel whipping and playlists and vibes and now we've got something that feels like a very sweaty party.
Yeah. I'm starting to get addicted to it.
Right.
I found my spin groove now. Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially favorite workout class I've ever taken. Rachel, who's one of the lead instructors there, she threw a 30th birthday party on a Friday night at Studio One. Live DJ ride, where you were the DJ in the room playing live music.
So fun.
That was a vibe.
So fun.
Best Friday night ever.
Wow. There were no espresso martinis at that one though, Troy.
There should have been. Next time, guys.
Does Mojo serve espresso martinis?
Of course they do.
Okay.
Of course. Yes, we had the little after party at Mojo's. Are you an espresso martini gal?
No.
No?
No.
That's right, because you're a yoga teacher. You can possibly drink. You're vegan. You don't drink coffee. You drink your tea.
I drink coffee, but every once in a while as a special treat, unless I am in Guatemala or Peru where the coffee is local and good and available. And then I can't say no. I just can't say no.
Of course.
You know? But no, my nervous system, if I drink too much coffee, I'm one of those people who, if I'm over caffeinated, you will know. But no, I just don't really drink.
That's fair. I mean, you probably shouldn't. It's probably a good idea.
It was something that I just kind of naturally ended up phasing out because I was like, oh, well, me and gluten don't really get along. So I can't really do beer. Wine gives me headaches. It was just like a process of elimination. Like, well, I guess I don't drink now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I reach that phase at some point. But for now, I'm fully in the espresso martini phase.
Hey, you enjoy that.
I do enjoy that. They're great. They bring me joy. And I have like in my calendar, get espresso martinis with this person. People just keep asking me to get espresso martinis with them. And I can't say no.
See, you're a connector. You build containers for connection, this time through espresso martinis.
Yeah.
Man of many tools.
No regrets about it. Okay, so you're teaching at Studio One. You're loving it. You're teaching your yoga. You're teaching a little bar as well. You're really doing it all.
Yep, and some sculpt.
Of course, yoga with weights.
Yoga with weights. Well, it's more like weights with a little bit of yoga.
Yeah, that's fair.
But to each their own. We got to build bridges.
Yeah. When it comes to building a fitness routine, as we were talking about earlier, like there's so many different components to physical fitness. You got to have the cardio right. You got to have the strength training right. You should have some flexibility work. Like there's so many different components to it. We only have so much time in the day in our busy lives. So when you come to think of your own fitness routine, what's your approach?
Great question. It has been for me a process of being willing to get really honest with what's happening in my body currently. How much energy do I have? Am I feeling sore? Am I nursing any injuries right now? Where am I at in terms of the sustainability of what's going to work for me? Because I might have in my mind, on Monday, I'm going to do this. And on Tuesday, I'm going to do that. And on Wednesday, I'm going to do that. So I have like a good rotation through the week. But I might get to Monday and be like, oh man, I slept like shit last night. I'm supposed to go lift weights right now, but I'm actually really under-resourced today. So,
and you say this to yourself, or is this like your Whoop bracelet is telling you? Because I know that's like what the point of the Whoop
I don't have one of those.
Oh, yeah, because it tells you your sleep score, and like if you're at a certain threshold, it'll be like, you shouldn't lift weights today. But you, in fact, listen to your body, because this is my whole like thing against the wearables is like we're just being disconnected from our body. We could give ourselves that answer.
Right.
We can look inward and be like, you know what? I probably shouldn't go for a run today. Instead, this activity would benefit me far more.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. We are very external data obsessed.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I feel like my ads on Instagram are like all testing facilities. They're like, come get everything tested. You're like, well, why? Like what? Why do I need all of this external data about what's happening in my? Obviously, if you have like something significant going on and you can't figure, okay, yes, great.
Like diabetes, I gotta check my Dexcom.
Yeah, like you should go to your doctor consistently, make sure things are looking good. But this current obsession with I have to have devices to tell me how my body feels, like, girl, come on, are you tired? Are you like really, really tired? Do your muscles hurt? Maybe don't go lift weights. Maybe you do some yoga. Maybe go for a walk.
Yeah.
Maybe
go for a walk with someone and talk.
Yeah.
That might make you feel
revolutionary. Good. Am I perfect about it? Do I sometimes just go, oh, well, I'm registered for class, I guess.
Going. You can take that no-show fee.
Exactly. But I try to be really honest with what's happening in my body. And I think that's partially a willingness to disconnect from what my brain thinks I'm supposed to do for a particular result, which, let's be honest, results are typically about aesthetics and not actually about feeling. Because if the result was, I want to feel good in my body, I want to feel strong and balanced and rested and regulated. Like, do you know anybody right now who actually says they feel rested? I don't think I do either.
What's that?
Right? So it's like, what if we all set as our fitness goal to like sleep well, be rested, feel strong, nourished, and then like to see what your body looks like.
Yeah.
I was just talking with some folks a couple nights ago about someone was sharing about how they were a college athlete. And they were saying, I look back at the pictures of myself and I look really in shape. But I know I was not fueling my body. I was drinking so much. If you had actually looked at my health markers, I was probably really unhealthy. But I looked like I was fit. So the aesthetic is not really all that tied to the actual well-being of what's underneath. So it's like, it is kind of a swimming upriver situation because we are so constantly bombarded by the aesthetic of what fit is supposed to look like. I mean, not to pick on any one business in particular, but I feel like the Ladder app in particular is like, we'll get you cut, we'll get you ripped, give us, 6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Heard of them.
Good. Well, now they're going to show up.
Yeah,
so
great,
sorry.
For sure. Although I did see a photo recently that you had posted, and it was just like, holy abs on Ankati. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it happens. It's not the current state of being.
Always a practice. Anything else you're super passionate about, Ankati? Anything else you're fired up, you want to get off your chest? Is there anything we haven't covered?
Oh, we didn't really talk about ecstatic dance.
Oh, I do talk a lot about ecstatic dance.
I know you do, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yes. Well, I just love it so much. People probably think I go every week. I do not go every week. I'm a busy man. But I do cherish when I do get to go. I realized in the last 2 years that I love to dance. And by dance, I mean just move my body. I don't love choreography. I don't love dancing in public spaces at weddings and things, but ecstatic dance, just the fact that there is no right way to do it. You can't be good at ecstatic dance.
Right.
That's just what really speaks to me about it. And that's why I love it so much. It's like, I know I love moving my body in fun ways that don't make sense. And I know I'm not good at it, but ecstatic dance is the place where it's okay for that.
Troy, I can't wait for you to experience our new subwoofer.
Oh, yes. The new speaker.
Yes. For listeners who don't know Troy very well, apparently Troy really likes bass music.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that about you before you showed up to our first shadow dance. And I was like, oh, Troy can get low. Okay.
Oh, no. I'm horrified what I did on that first. I've brought multiple dates to ecstatic dance. And I was on somewhat of a date on the shadow dance, ecstatic dance.
I know you were.
Night, which in hindsight, maybe that's why it didn't work out.
I mean, I think maybe it's not a good first date.
Yeah. It wasn't a first date. It was a gray area date is what it was.
Oh, well, That's why, because no one knew what was happening. Yeah, I mean, so we moved ecstatic dance to a new space. It's in Elliott, actually like just right around the corner.
Yep.
From Shiloh.
4 Bodies.
At 4 Bodies Wellness. Yep. And I think it really helped us to re-energize the community. The space that we were holding dance in before had just kind of continued to shift and evolve, and we lost our chill room, and it just wasn't feeling like a good fit for the dance anymore. So when we moved it to 4 Bodies, it just feels like such a great space and a great fit for the community, in the sense that it has a really nice entryway. It has a beautiful chill room and a really nice flow to the space. So we've been having great crowds of people there. We've had quite a few people, new folks, find us. I just got a message yesterday from somebody who said that they were living in California and they had gone to their first, this is one of those messages that you're just like, they had gone to their first ecstatic dance in California, and that they loved it, and it felt so supportive and so cathartic. And they were having a conversation with somebody afterwards, and that this person said, "Oh, this was your first dance. Well, welcome home." They had to move. And they ended up moving to this area, and they felt really sad for having lost that space. But they found our ecstatic dance and came this past dance, and said they realized that what that person meant was not home as in, this room and this community of people, but home as in ecstatic dance as a practice. Essentially like, welcome home to you and to your movement and to your body and to whatever your system needs in that space. And I was like, oh my God, yes, that is what I want people to be able to experience, is to come to this space. And, of course, when somebody new comes, especially when their date has dragged them there and they didn't really know what was happening, sometimes that first initial little bit of time, they're like, "Ooh, I don't really know. Are people actually accepting? Is it actually okay for me to move my body however I want?" But then the hope is that they realize, yes, it legit is. And welcome home to your practice.
Yeah, it really is another one of those just very special places that we have here on the Seacoast. But how do you get someone over the edge? Because as much as I talk about ecstatic dance and like try to get and want to get people to come, it's kind of a hard sell. Because when I describe it, people are like, I don't know, man.
Because you call it things like bizarre.
Okay. Is it not? Is it not strange? If you're an outsider, you walk into the room, you'd be like, what the hell is going on here?
I mean, you'd probably think everyone was on drugs.
For sure. Which they're not. It's a sober experience.
Exactly. How do you get somebody over the edge? You know, I think I tend to describe it as I'm somebody who loves dancing. I love dancing. There aren't enough weddings in my life for me to get my fix of dancing. Plus, in those spaces, you're liable to get a beer poured down your back, or like somebody's going to spill their wine on you. And then, you know, that interrupts your flow, to say the least. At ecstatic dance, you know, you're going to get that whole range of movement, the big bassy, the housey, the everything. But no one's going to spill their beer on you. You don't have to worry about any drunkies getting weird and groping you or dancing up on you and you don't want them to. And you just get to get your proverbial freak on and then go home and be in bed at a good hour.
Yeah. No hangover.
No hangover.
Yeah.
Feeling good. You don't have to go out dancing until 2. Like I can't. I mean, I won't say I can't. I prefer not to go dancing until 1 or 2 a.m. anymore. I want to be in bed at that hour. So if I can dance from 7 to 9, like sweet. Great.
Okay. I will refine my pitch to the people until we get them there.
I do find that what people tend to get hung up on is you want me to dance sober.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Right.
Which I understand. I think a lot of people don't have a whole lot of experiences past, you know, the high school dance.
Yeah.
Where they dance sober. But I think about it as like, however you dance in your kitchen when you're having your own private personal dance party, just bring that.
Yeah. It's truly non-judgmental. Truly non-judgmental. Like I do some weird shit. There's people doing weird shit. And whenever I see someone doing weird stuff, I'm like, you go, girl. Like, you go, bro. Like, I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you're having a good, like people just having a good time, genuine, fun time, no substances helping them along. It's really cool.
Yeah. And our brains have all those chemicals anyway.
Right.
So we just dance and set them free.
Ecstatic dance every other Saturday?
Just currently one Saturday a month.
Okay.
Second
Right in the
Saturday. Yes. Second Saturday of the month. For now.
Okay. Second Saturday of the month for now. For Body's Wellness, Elliott, Maine. You can find more details on Ankati's website, which is
ankatiday.com,
where she also writes a beautiful newsletter, which hits my inbox every now and then and always leaves me with some good inspiration, some good things to think about. So do check that out. Check her out at Three Bridges. Check her out at Studio One. And I'm sure like 9 other studios that don't exist yet that will exist, except the hot yoga ones. Perhaps you won't find her there.
And here at Shiloh.
And here at Shiloh Farm, yes.
Wednesday mornings.
Yes, thank you, Shiloh, for having us. You also double as a podcast studio, so thank you to the fine folks here for having us. Ankati, thank you for joining me, for teaching me things, as always, for sharing your wisdom with the people of the Seacoast, for all you do on the Seacoast and all these different spaces that you occupy. And thank you for your friendship and for talking to me about birds all hours of the day.
I will keep sending you memes. Don't worry.
Love you, Ankati.
Thank you, Troy.
Again, that's yoga teacher, ecstatic dance DJ, retreats leader, and my friend, Ankati Day. By the way, she's co-leading a retreat to Jackson, Maine in the fall. So if you want to go on a yoga retreat, but are a little scared of doing an international trip, then a local retreat is the perfect way to dip your toes into the retreat waters. For more information, you can visit ankatiday.com, the link to which is in today's show notes. Thank you, Ankati, for joining. Thank you, David Higgins and Dermatology and Skin Health, for supporting this episode, and to all of you for listening. For more episodes each week, you can give us a follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, which supports us in our mission of bringing the Seacoast closer together more than you could ever know. And just like that, Season 4 of Seacoast Stories is a wrap. Now, when I started the show 2 years ago, I vowed to never go dark for a week, and I will uphold that promise. So, over the next few weeks, we'll replay some of our favorite episodes of the show, and then Season 5 will get rolling in mid-June, and man, it's going to be a good one. I've got big plans. I'm booking it out as we speak. I can't wait. Until the beginning of Season 5, if you see me around town, or at dinner club, or at any event bobbing around the Seacoast, please stop me and say hi. I would love to hear your story. Have a great week, everybody. I really appreciate you all. I love you all. Live free or die.